Let's understand the basic data types supported by the TypeScript. So TypeScript allows three basic data types, that is string, boolean, and the number. Apart from this, there are two more which are added recently in the new releases, that is big int and the symbol. So in this particular module, we are going to understand how these basic data types will be used, how the type assignment will work, it is implicit or explicit, in which case it applies implicitly, in which case we have to explicitly mention, and all of that. We'll also try a few examples here to understand all these things in more detail. Before starting with the data type supported by the TypeScript, let's try to understand with a quick example in JavaScript. If we are not using the data types like a TypeScript, what are the issues will come and how the code will become more and more complex and how in production it can fail. So I'm just opening this JavaScript file. Please be sure we are in the JavaScript file, not in the TS file. So let me remove all the code which is generated previously for one of our previous code. And here I'll just try to create a quick function, and the name of this I'll say like add function. And I just want to or add, or I can say compare. Okay. And I just want to take two numbers as a parameter, n1 and n2. And here I just want to perform like if n1 is greater than n2, then I'm going to console n1 is bigger, else console n2 is bigger. Let's apply quickly a formatter here. Here. So now if I want to call this, I'll say compare 1 comma 2. That's it. How the the outcome for this will be, let's see. N2 is bigger because of course we are sending 1 comma 2 here. It's saying that N2 is bigger. Now, one one thing that we should understand here, if I'm providing a string here instead of a number, will it work? Yes, it's a JavaScript. It won't much bother about the data types and everything. So it will, of course, work here. And ideally, it should not work because I can also give anything, something like this. And let's again run the program and let's see. It's again saying N2 is bigger. Even in N2, if I'm just randomly dropping something here, it's still working and it's not a correct behavior, we can say, because we wanted these number n1 and n2 to be always an integer for this comparison. So in JavaScript, if you want to apply this validation, so I need to say here like if the type of n1 is a number, along with that the type of n2 is also a number, then only perform this comparison. Okay, or else just say invalid input. Now let's try to see the outcome. We should get now this invalid input in this case. Getting it? Invalid input. How it's working. So we are passing a string. We are passing a string. Okay. So the type of this particular variable is number. No. N2 is a number. No. So it's just going here and saying invalid input. So let's try to pass a valid inputs now. Yes, we are getting N2 bigger. Let's try it in a different way. N1 should be bigger now. Yes, and now let's also try to perform in this way. Now, I'll just give you a minute to think on it, what will happen. Yes. So what will happen? Let's save this and see the outcome. It's saying invalid input, even though it's a number, but it's in a string format. So what is failing here? This is failing. And how this particular type works, type of, so we can just do some console and understand how these types will work and everything. But for now, I guess you understood how we are applying a manual validation if JavaScript is not performing any validation. And this is what the trouble comes with the JavaScript. And now in the next upcoming lecture, we are going to see how we can solve with this problem with the primitive data types provided by the TypeScript. Let's try to understand the basic data types provided by the TypeScript now. So now we are not going to write any code in the JavaScript because we need to understand in the TypeScript. So I'm going to open the script.ts file, and we are already having a lot of code here. Let's remove it, and I'll just try to quickly create the same function that we have done earlier, that is called compare. And I just want to compare two integer values here. So previously we have mentioned in this way, and as soon as I do this here, it's started showing some errors. It is declared and never used and everything that you should be getting to know now, that is due to the ts file configuration that we have seen earlier in the previous module. So let's ignore that error for now and say if n1 is bigger than n2. So say n1 is bigger, or else n2 is bigger. Let's apply a quick format here. It's still showing an error. What's the error? Parameter n1 is implicitly has an any type. Yes. And this is what we are trying to understand. If you are not mentioning the data types for this particular parameters here, these particular variables which are available as a parameter here, it started showing you error. The TypeScript is not able to understand what data type it should consider for it. So let me explicitly mention here n1, you are a number, and 2, you are also number. Now the TypeScript is getting a clarity. N1 is a number, N2 is a number, and then okay, fine. I can perform the greater than, less than operation and everything. And I can happily call it now. Compare, let's say 1 comma 2. So we should get N2 is bigger, of course. It's still showing an invalid. Any guess why it's showing? Let me save this file again. Refresh it. It's still showing the invalid. You should guess it now. Yes. Why? Because we are not running our TypeScript in a watch mode. So let me just run the TypeScript compiler in the watch mode so that the continuous JavaScript files will be created with this compilation. Let's save it now. Yes, N2 is bigger. Here, now previously as we did, let's try to give a string here. As soon as I'm giving a string here, it started complaining. What it is complaining, let's try to understand. Argument of type string is not assignable to the parameter of type number. It's very clearly saying that you are passing a string and I'm expecting here a number. It's not allowed. I'm not going to allow you to call this function. So now there is no need to write the additional complications here, like the type of n1 should be equals to number and all this that we have done previously. So these are the benefits with the TypeScript, we can say, and we have explored only one data type, that is number till now. Let's try to explore the other data types. So this is just a number. Let's try to create a similar one, that is for the string. For string, we'll do in some different way. We'll create a separate function and we'll say concat. So we want to perform a concatenation, and for that I would like to give s1 as a string, s2 as a string, and here a console log s1 plus s2. I just want to combine both of this. Let's try to call this concat. Hello. Hi. Let's see the outcome. Hello and hi. Now, here interesting to see if again I make the same mistake, it's not going to allow me. I'm passing a number, it's accepting a string. That's perfect. And now one more remaining, that is a Boolean one. So for the Boolean one, let me create a flag here. Let's say this flag will is having a data type of boolean, and I can just add a true and false into that. I can just say true or the false. If I try to give any other value apart from this here, like a string ABC, it will give you the error string is not assignable to type boolean. If I also try to give any number here, it will start complaining. Yes, and let's try with 0. Yeah, for 0 also it's like it compulsory need a particular boolean value that is true or the false. So let me also try to do one more operation here. Let's say 1 is less than 2. If I do, what will happen? If I write here the expression like this, 1 is less than 2 over here, what will happen? Any guesses? It will give any error or no? Let's try to do. No, because the outcome of this particular expression is going to be in Boolean value itself. Pretty clear? Perfect. So we'll see the next thing in the next lecture. We'll try understanding the next basic data type from the TypeScript is big int. And after that, we'll also see the symbol one. So why exactly we need the big int here? So we need to understand when the limit for the normal number data type will over, and when we need to start the big int for that. So let me just open my script.ts file here. Let me just erase all of this code, and let's say let n equals to some random number. Okay, and I just want to console it. Sorry, so and let me confirm the outcome here. Yeah, I'm getting my value here. The problem here is this particular n is a number. So of course it will have some limitation. But what is that limitation? So to understand that limitation, if you just Google out what's the maximum value supported by the number. So you will get to know the maximum number the which is supportable by the number data type is 2 raised to the power 53 minus 1, and that is this value. So let me just copy this value over here. Okay, everything is well. I can also see my output here. Perfect. As soon as I increase one single number, let's make it 92, I'm started getting error. What is that error? It is saying that it's not supportable, it's more than my possibilities. Like I'm not able to store the number above this because I'm just limited to the number which is up to 91 itself. If you want to store something bigger than that, then you of course need some other data type for that. So for that, we need to use the begin. So I need to replace, let me just make it 2. Now we are getting the error here, like 2 raised to the power 20 53, whatever it is. And I need to change the data type here, and I need to say it's a big int. After making big int, I'm again getting one more error. The type number is not assignable to the type of big int. So of course, the way you mention the big int and the number is different. So when you want to mention it's a big int number, you have to say a n over here. And when you're saying n at the end of this particular literal, at the end of this particular number, it is saying that it is not supportable over here. Why it's not supportable? So you need to again understand there are different versions of the JavaScript. We have seen the ES5, ES6, and inside that also ES2020, ES2026, so 2016, like that. So these things are only available, the big int is only available which are above ES2020. So if I want to see my TypeScript code is getting converted to the JavaScript, so what target version we are using? So for that, uh, we should go to the tsconfig.json, and here I can see that. So here it is saying that I'm targeting to the ES5. So let's make it ES6. Be very careful with this. Save. And now this error should go. It's still not going. Something is missing here. Give me a second. I think more I'm missing here. ES. Okay. ES2020. Let me use. Yeah. So this particular is supportable only in the ES2020 minimum and on top and beyond that. So that's the reason we are getting the issue till now, and we're not going to use the begin. And I'll also request you immediately change this configuration again back to the ES5, because it's a normal configuration that we are going to use throughout the project. This is just changed to show you the begin how it works. So let me just remove this error also. So hope you understood the begin, and in the next lecture we'll see the symbol one. Let's try to understand the symbol data type here provided by the TypeScript. So let me just start fresh here and say it as S1. I want to create the symbol, and I need to call symbol with its constructor, and I can also give a description to it, what exactly the description of this particular symbol. I just want to say it's a key one. I also want to create one more symbol called S2, and the name of that I want to give as key2. So these are the two symbols I'm creating. This is just creating a unique identifiers, we can say. And if I say console S1 equals to S2, so I just want to compare if both are exactly equal symbols. So of course it's not an equal symbols, both are, so we are getting a false over here. I'll just remove this particular line over here. It's constantly disturbing us in this particular outcome. Okay, fine. So we are getting an output here that is called false here. So now if I just make it key one and the key one both symbols, so I'm creating exactly two identical symbols with a similar description, key one and the key one. What will be the outcome? I'll just pause for a minute. So let's think on it. What will happen? So let's save this and see the output. It's again false. What we understood with this, so it doesn't matter what description for the symbol we are giving. As soon as possible, you're creating a symbol. It means you have created a unique symbol. So what's the use out of it? Of course, it's used in advanced programming, advanced scripting with the TypeScript that is used in different libraries. Also, there are different inbuilt symbols are there. Right now, it's not a good time to discuss on this because we are just learning the basics with the TypeScript. So only the intention here is to introduce the symbols. There are these things are also available that can be used in advanced scripting as well. So hope there is no confusion with this. It's super simple. It's just creating a unique symbol when we are using a symbol data type with this. Let's understand the implicit and the explicit type assignment in the TypeScript. So let me just create a variable called n here, and I'm saying number, it's a 10. So what we are doing here, we are explicitly mentioning that is this particular n is a number. So this is something called an explicit type assignment where we are mentioning explicitly like it's a number. Let's suppose I'm not giving this particular number. So now in this case, the TypeScript compiler itself understanding n is a number. If you just hover your cursor also, it will very clearly tell you it is considering it as a number. So even though after this, you're trying to give it some string here, it will not accept because this is implicit type. Already they have TypeScript is assigned as a number as an implicitly. So it is equivalently to this one. So it is just our comfort, like either we are giving or the TypeScript is giving. So whatever the first value you are assigning, based upon that, the TypeScript will implicitly assign the data type for a particular variable. Let's understand also with an interesting example now. So I'm saying let n, and this time I'm just declaring a variable. I'm not assigning any value to that particular variable. So there is no data type we have mentioned to the variable n. Okay, so let's carefully observe. I'm saying n equals to 10. Everything is valid, everything is fine, perfect. So n is a number, sure. So let me say n equals to ABC. Should it start giving me error now? No, it's not giving me the error. So I'll just give you a minute to think on it. Why in this case when we are assigning it's a number, so of course it's a first assignment, it should become a number data type, but then again I'm doing it something like a JavaScript, changing my data type of a number variable. It should not allow me in the TypeScript. So think on it. I'll give you a minute how exactly it's happening. Yes. So the reason for that, if you just hover your cursor on this particular variable n, it will show you it is by default considered as an any. When you are not assigning any value, so TypeScript don't have anything to understand what data type it should implicitly assign to it. So by default, it assign any when you are just declaring a variable and not initializing it. So this is equivalent to this syntax. And that's the reason it is accepting a number as well as a string. So hope you understand how the implicit and the explicit type assignment is working in the TypeScript.